Wow, nature is great. Here in Central Valley of California, the Nisenan tribe lived. Did you know they had to make everything from their natural surroundings? There was nothing they could go and buy. Come with me. I'll show you all how the Nisenan tribe lived. Do you know what these are and what they're used for? If you don't, these are tules. This one is not dried. This one is dried. The dried ones were used for houses, boats, and even their sleeping mats. They even used maybe not the dry ones, but they used tule roots for eating. Like this is the house that they might have made from the tules. This is a summer house. As you can see, it's made out of tules, like the ones in that pond. They did not have nails, hammers, metal, or wires, even super glue. So they had to use like grapevines, tules, and their natural resources to tie things together, to make their houses, and do all their stuff. This house is the summer house, and it has a hole way up top. They probably had the hole for air ventilation because it was so hot. Have you wondered what the Nisenan tribe ate? If you are, this is called a mortar bed. It has many different holes. They actually made the holes with other stones. It's normally made on a big slab of granite, and they grind acorns in the holes with a pestle, and the pestle, they have two different ones. One's lighter and one's heavier. I have a little question for you guys. What do you think this is? This is where they stored the acorns for one whole entire year to get all the bugs out of them before they can start the whole process of cooking with them. They get their acorns from way up there. Maybe not that high though, but they might climb the trees and get the acorns and then put them in here. This is a Nisenan kitchen and fire pit. The Nisenan used many nearby plants and animals for food. And skillfully, they wove baskets for food gathering, storage, and even to cook in. They gathered acorns and seeds and then pounded them into meals for bread and cereal or mush. Now, come along with me to my grandma's backyard where we're going to learn to make acorn mush. Hi, now I'm in my grandmother's backyard, and the first step is to gather the acorns. But where do you get them? You get them in an oak tree, not an acorn tree. An oak tree has wasps that like to lay their eggs on it, and it's like the wasp stings the tree and lays its eggs, and the oak tree makes something called an oak gall around the eggs, and then the little wasp, when it's ready to hatch, it makes a little hole and comes out. But Indian girls would make dolls out of the oak galls, and the boys would make toys. Okay, now that we've collected different types of acorns, let's start grinding. But first, I need to tell you that the little rock you take the shell off the acorn with, it's called a matado, like a potato, but matado. And it's used to get the shell off the acorn, just like a peanut has a protective shell. So you need to stand up the acorn with the point up top, and then you get out your nut that's in the the acorn, and then you can. Okay, so now we're moving on to grinding the acorns. But first, I have to tell you, we're gonna use a big matadi this time because the hole is a lot deeper. This is actually called a mortar bowl because, you know, you have seen the mortar bed that we had earlier, and the bed, it isn't portable. So if the Indian woman moved during the summer or winter, they could bring the mortar bowl with them. And now let's get grinding. So now what you have to do is you take one of the acorns. It doesn't have to be in half, but I just have them in half. And then pound them. Then you have ground acorn. I have a lot more work to do. So see you after. Bye. Okay, now that I've ground my acorns into this abalone shell, which they use for bowls, we're going to leach it so that we can get all the tannic acid out that tastes really bad and that can make you sick. So first, what we're gonna do is you pour the acorn on top of ferns and leaves, and then it's normally near a river or a stream, so the water just washes the tannic acid right out. Okay, now that we've leached, it's time to pour our acorn mush or acorn flour into this basket. But let me explain to you how this basket was made. So they took willows and grasses and wove it so tightly. Like, unlike modern baskets today, we have holes in it and it's made in a factory and they're not as good quality. But let's pour it in. Whee! Oops. And now we have to go get water, or we've gotten water from the river, and now we're going to pour the water into the basket with the acorn mush. And now we are gonna stir it all together. Now we're gonna take it to the fire. Okay, so if Indians had no pots or pans or ovens or stoves, how do they cook? The answer is they use a hot rock. A hot rock is a rock that is shaped to go around a basket, just like this. You put the hot rock that has been in the fire for a long time and the Indians take it out with a long stick like this that's crossed to pick it up, and then they put it in the basket and move it around. If they stop, it will make the rock just cook one place and make a hole in the basket and burn it. So they can't stop moving the rock around the acorn meal. So then it gets all hot and it cooks. And that is how the Nisenan tribe made acorn mush. Question time! Please hold up the number of fingers for the correct answer. What did the Native Americans make their summer houses out of? If you guessed tules, you are correct. Where do you get the acorns? If you guessed oak tree, you are correct. Where do you leach? A river or stream is the correct answer. Who
grinds the acorns? Kids, men, or woman? If you guessed woman, you are correct. Do you think it would be hard to make acorn mush? All of them are correct, because it's your opinion.